Hello. Welcome to this week's Talkin' Tuesday. So I hope you guys are doing well. Stop the video right now, go grab yourselves a drink. Since I am a sober sister, I'll be drinking tea, but I figured having a drink and just sitting here talking would, help. I don't know what I was trying to say there. So just ignore that. That was weird. But yeah, welcome. Okay. I'm just making sure I know that was really strange. I'm sorry. Hello? Jesus. Hold on. And we're back. Sorry, I was like looking at my screen on the bottom left-hand side. I have like the sound bar going up and down to check my levels, making sure I don't peak. And it was going really like high to a point where it was like red, and I was like, I'm peaking. So I had to fix that. Anyways, hope you grabbed your drink. I have mine, green tea. Ooh. This is green tea with a little bit of, I guess in the States they call it like popcorn rice tea, but it's just brown rice. And it's delicious. Okay, so updates. Let's talk here. I don't have any topic in mind that I was going to talk about. I just figured I would come on here and chill, and update you guys. Some stuff has happened in the last pretty much 24 hours that is kind of life-changing. Not life-changing, but it does kind of change up stuff in my life. First and foremost, I got a new job, which I start in April. Friend's mom owns a business, and my friend insisted that I apply for it because she thought it would be really good for her mom's business. And so I wasn't looking for a job. As you all know, I don't really talk about it that much, but I currently work in a kitchen slinging chicken into a container at a meal prep place. The job sucks. Kudos and so much respect to people who serve me food, because it is not an easy job, especially places like meal prep companies where you have to do the same task over and over and over again. It's just a rough job, and I hate it. I like cooking, but I don't like working in kitchens. I think I might actually be developing some carpal tunnel, because the other day I was cutting chicken for like 6 hours. Well, I've done it multiple times, but recently I could really start feeling like just numbness in the tips. I'm probably gonna get it looked at, but yeah, I could definitely feel it's really sore. So with that being said, plus the fact that I'm not a huge fan of kitchen jobs, and this new opportunity came up for a new position at a different company, I was like, yeah, I'm totally down to try. Well, okay, I wasn't like that at first. I actually fought. I actually kind of was like hesitant about applying, because even though I hate the position that I'm in, I'm not a huge fan of working in kitchens, I really love the people that I work with. You know, the people that I work with are really cool, really chill, really amazing people. Even the people who own the business are just absolutely amazing. Being a sentimental person, I was like putting those feelings up front. You know, I was really I gave all these reasons as to why I didn't want to leave. Well, there's another big reason, and we'll talk about that in a second, but one of my biggest reasons was I'm very sentimental, and I really like the people that I work with. I respect them, and I had a hard time letting go. The second thing is the job that I'm going to be working for is full-time. I did full-time for a while in the current job when I first started working with them, and then some of you longtime people know that I used to work at a different place where I was a full-time manager. Doing YouTube and working full-time is difficult. Jake allegedly works more than full-time. He works super full-time, if that was a position. I don't know how he does it, honestly. Working full-time and doing YouTube is rough, because you know, you work your entire day, and instead of coming home and binging on TV or playing video games, like, you have another job to get to. Especially if you want to be, you want to move forward with YouTube, you can't give yourself any excuses. So you still have to work and put in more work, and especially things like what Jake allegedly does and what I do now with the Freaky Friday content. You know, you do all your research, which takes a few hours. And then you film, which takes about an hour or two, and then you'll go to edit, which takes another few hours. So it's not like you come home, knock out a video in an hour, and then you go binge watch TV. Oftentimes you come home from a long day of work, take a shower, eat, and then you're at your computer working the rest of the night and just repeating the process. I have a huge respect for what Jake does. He's like a hard worker. You don't really get to see it because he never talks about it on his channel, but huge respect for what he does. That's one of the reasons why the current job I was working full-time, but I told him, I was like, if you guys need me to stay, like, I can't work full-time, I have to go part-time, because at the time last year I was doing daily vlogs, and to me that was priority more than any of my jobs. So I was like, no, I have to get my YouTube, like I committed to doing something every single day, and I have to do it. So they put me down to part-time. Now I only post a video 2 to 3 times a week, so it's not going to be as bad, which is why I'm more open to taking a more full-time position. But it still makes me nervous because, you know, I don't want to be put in a position where it distracts me from my number one goal, which is YouTube. Ultimately though, that's up to me. If I want it bad enough, no matter what happens in my life, I have control of my own success and like what I can achieve and stuff. So ultimately, whether I have a full-time position or not, if I'm not consistent or if I make excuses and not upload or make videos, that's on me, because I totally have the time in the day to do that, even with a full-time job. It makes me nervous though, because it is going to be a lot to handle, but I think it's time for me to move on from my, like, the current job into something else. And I went in for an interview yesterday, and I sat down with the 2 managers and the 2 business owners, which is, one of them is my friend's mom, and then the other one is my friend's mom's husband. They were just the nicest people. And when I whistled there, that was weird. They were the nicest people, and I got really good vibes from them, and I'm really excited to give this a shot. I love challenges, I love trying new things, so why the hell not, right? I think it's gonna be fun. Everything else I'll figure out. I think it's a good opportunity for me, as well as I think it'll be fun to do. So I'm excited about that. After I had my interview and found out that I got the job, I had to go to my job and tell the 2 owners that I was putting in my 2 weeks, and I didn't think I would cry, but I actually got teary-eyed. A part of me, when I was driving to my current job to put in my 2 weeks, I was kind of excited because I'm like, oh, thank God, I'm not gonna be cutting chicken for 6 hours anymore. But then I sat down and I like talked to them, and I got kind of sad, and now I'm like starting to tear up again, because the one thing I appreciate about the 2 people that I work for now, they understand what I'm trying to do. And despite like they're, you know, I mean, obviously they have business needs and schedules and everything that they have to do, and when they need it, I was available. They tried so hard to work with me on my schedule because they knew that I had stuff going on the side that I was passionate about. And it's so rare to be able to find and work for people who understand that you have desires and passions and drives for something other than what you're doing. You know, you can't take that for granted. I can't take that for granted. I was very fortunate to have found them, and just everything that they did for me throughout my time there, all the support, despite like hating the job. Not hating the job, I highly dislike the job of just kitchen work. Just them and the people that I work with in the kitchen, my coworkers, like amazing people. And when I was sitting there giving in my 2 weeks, I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna miss them so much. But you gotta move on sometimes. And I feel like it's definitely my time to move on. New direction in life and all that. But while I was there, I got a call from my mom saying that something had happened to my grandpa and she was gonna call the ambulance. So I had to cut my talk with them short and head over to my mom's house. And by the time I got to my mom's house, there was an ambulance waiting inside, and my mom was standing in front, and I was like, what's going on? And apparently my grandpa was exercising and he kind of stumbled, and when my mom went to go talk to him, he wasn't really getting his words out properly. Like, he was mumbling. It was kind of incoherently, and that really freaked her out. My grandpa has a really weak heart, and we were told recently that his heart was weakening. And so she didn't want to take any chances. She called the ambulance, and by the time I got there, my aunt and my grandpa was already in the ambulance, and they were prepping to take him to the hospital. I had Matt with me, and we just followed the ambulance to the hospital. We got to the hospital at like, I don't know, like 6 or 7. It was about 6 or 7, and by the time my grandpa was discharged, it was close to 1 o'clock in the morning, so that we were there for a while. They were running tests. They wanted to be thorough because he, you know, of his age, he's 88 years old with a bad heart. It was kind of a chaotic day. It was like a bunch of just roller coasters of emotions. There was this point when I was sitting in front of the emergency room doors waiting for my grandpa and my aunt to come out. I heard an ambulance coming towards the hospital, and it parked right up front into the emergency room doors, and this young gentleman came out, and an older guy in a gurney was brought into the hospital emergency room. And I remember just watching this and thinking to myself, you know, I woke up this morning only thinking that today was going to be the interview day. I didn't really know whether I was going to get the job. I had a pretty good feeling that I was going to, but I wasn't sure. And I was just nervous. Like, that was my entire day, right? Like, it was just about the interview. To end my day waiting for my grandpa who had to be rushed to the hospital, it really made me just stop for a moment and just realize how fast life changes. You know, we go through life, and for the most part every day it's kind of the same. You wake up, you go through your day, and then you go to bed, and then the next day follows. But then every once in a while, when you wake up and you think that the day is going to be one of those days again where you wake up, go about your day, and then go to bed, and then something happens, something that just throws a wrench in everything. And it happens so quickly and so suddenly, you just never know. Like, the uncertainty of it all just hit me in that moment. Like I said, the only priority I had that day was to go to my job interview. And then there I was in front of the emergency room doors. And I think all of us have it every once in a while, where we have these moments where we take a step back in life and really look around and think, holy shit, I'm 30 years old. Holy shit, I just rushed my grandpa to the hospital. Holy shit, I just lost somebody. Holy shit, I just got fired. Holy shit, I just got a new job. Holy shit, I just became a parent. You know, and there's just a moment where you just like, it hits you. As you go through the ebbs and flows of life, without really thinking about it, there's moments of clarity that just like the clouds open up, and it just like God throws this rock down at you, and he's like, here's the moment. Here's reality. This is where you're at in life. For me, when I have those moments, I can't help but to be very grateful for what I have in my life. All the good, all the bad, all the triumphs and all the tribulations, like all of it, right? In my 32 years of life, I just can't help but be grateful that I was able to be here, meet the people that I've met along the way, be with the people that was able to be along the way. I'm a very blessed person. I remember when I saw the ambulance in front of my grandpa's house, and I knew that my grandpa was inside. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know how serious the situation was at the time. It really took me back to my grandma when my grandma passed away. And I remember that same ambulance. My grandma had already passed away in the house, and they were just basically taking her to the hospital to try to revive her. I have PTSD from that moment. I still can't hear ambulances or go to the emergency room without almost having a panic attack, because it always takes me back to that moment with my grandma, because that was a very, very significant part of my life. That was the first time, I mean, my dad had passed away 4 months prior, but that was the first time I had ever seen somebody die. So to this day, it still makes me very scared and nervous and panicky. I thought last night that something might have happened to my grandpa where I might lose him too. Luckily I didn't. He's okay, he's resting. And one of the things that I remembered as I was standing there in front of the emergency room doors was the feeling that I had when my grandma and my dad passed away. As hard as it was, they left me with one important lesson they taught me in passing and in their death, which is life is short. You never know what's going to happen, and to just be grateful for what you have. Now, I'm a very ambitious person. I'm usually constantly living in the future. You know, all the plans that I have, all the things that I want to do in my life, it's in the future. And I often forget to live in the now because I'm so obsessed with what I want for myself in the future. I admit that. Standing there, it just really hit me. You just never know what's gonna happen. I don't know. I just think it's really, really important to stop and think about that every once in a while. Just to really think about all the things that you've experienced, where you are. You know, I tell people all the time, because there's so many people that I know that are so afraid of growing older. My mom was afraid of becoming 60, and like I have friends who are afraid to turn 30, and I'm like, you know what? We don't all get to be this age. There's a lot of people who probably wanted to be where we're at and never got the chance. The longer we're here, the longer we're alive, the longer we get to experience and love and be present. That's definitely something to be grateful for. And that was just something I thought in that moment as I was standing waiting for my grandpa to come out of the emergency room. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and go because I know this video is gonna be long if I keep talking, and I totally could. You know, it's funny. Oh my god, here I go. Digressing again. Before I started YouTube, I've never really been a talker. I've always been a listener. And I was never really good at talking. Just talking without any plan, without any direction, even like talking in front of people. It always made me nervous. But one thing that YouTube has actually really helped me in is just learning how to talk. And I appreciate the platform and what I do, and obviously you guys for being there and supporting that. So thank you guys so much. I'm gonna get this video up and then continue to work on my Freaky Friday video. I have an interesting one. I'm kind of toying between the two because I have two ideas. That's four. I have two ideas. I'm just kind of toying between the two, which one I'm going to release, but I'm going to continue working on the script after I get this video up. So thank you guys so much for tuning into this week's Tuesday talkin' vloggin. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in Friday's video. Peace. Bye.